It's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. So thanks for joining me today. So this is my take on the astrology for October 2023. Now, what's interesting about this month, of course, is that it's eclipse season again. And so we have 2 eclipses this month. But on top of that, the ruler of both of these eclipses is Venus. So it's important for us to look at Venus as well, which we will look at. But it's also important for you to look at Venus in your chart as well, as that may be activated at this time too. So we have, talking about Venus in Leo at 28 degrees will be out of shadow this month of October on the 8th of October. So that kind of puts to rest the whole saga of the Venus going retrograde in Leo. And so after that, basically, Venus will be staying in Virgo for the rest of the month. And so for the whole month, most of this month, Venus in Virgo will be doing what? She will be collecting information, and she'll be sifting and sorting important information to pull out what's important, right? Virgo is also about service. It is about our health as well. So all these subjects may come in to view this month for all of us. But I really saw that, a lot of the folks that did break up or just decided to consciously uncouple over the summer time period, this could be a month where you really get the facts straight and get important information lined up in order to move forward, right? Because we've got Venus now going direct and out of shadow. Okay, so when we look at the first new moon, the new moon in Libra will be an eclipse, a new moon eclipse, at 21 Libra and 8 minutes. And it will occur on the 14th, 15th of October 2023. And at this new moon eclipse in Libra, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun, as well as the Moon, as well as the South Node, as you recall, is in Libra too. So this is a pretty significant new moon eclipse. It's interesting, initially at first blush when I looked at this, I didn't think it was all that, it was kind of okay. And then I started digging into it and I thought, wow, this is a really important eclipse going on right now. And when I looked up that, when I look at the chart for the actual new moon eclipse, the first thing that came to my mind was a whole group of lawyers or a council of some sort, maybe even like the Supreme Court or the World Council or something like that. But that came to my mind immediately. And so in terms of like more of a collective level, these types of things may play into the whole month of October. Because we look at Libra, it can represent a number of things, but Libra really does represent that balance, right? It represents harmony. It can represent the law, diplomacy, that type of thing. So from a collective level, that could all be at play. But certainly if you've got something, say around that 21 degrees of Libra, you're also going to have Mercury in the South Nodes conjunct that too. So this could be a really important new start for some folks. And maybe it will literally be in a legal case where maybe there's some favorable discussions that put everybody on a new path. Now, Mercury is a modulator. And so I see at this eclipse in Libra that there may be an actual increase in discussion and potential negotiations at this time. So again, for those folks that say, want to move on with their life, whether it is a relationship's broken up or they're just wanting to move on in some way to get maybe better balance in their life, this would be a good new moon to have some favorable interactions with regards to negotiations and pulling stuff up that is significant to your case. The other thing too with this Mercury is that Pallas Athena will also be conjuncting Mercury at this eclipse. And so this is also to do with things like intellectual types of discussions and getting the information correct, that type of thing. Now, when we look at the Sabian symbol, so there's a book that you can get that's called the Sabian Symbols, and it lists every degree in every sign in the zodiac, and it gives you an interpretation of it. And so the Sabian symbol for this new moon eclipse in Libra, and you always round up, is 22 degrees of Libra. And it is a child giving birds a drink from a fountain. So really this translates into really giving sustenance, whether it's literal sustenance or something akin to that, to everyone that needs it. So there may be some new developments going on here in society. And I'm thinking in potential changes to laws, rules, and regulations type thing, going back to that whole thing where I was talking about the new moon in Libra being kind of this whole group of lawyers of some sort, or this council of some sort, where there's new developments that happen with regards to really helping everybody here and giving to those that really, really need it. And I think it's going to be something significant. I don't think this is going to be a minor thing. Because on top of everything else that I've just spoken about, we actually have a yod operating. And this yod's going to be operating all month in some way. Now, it's going to be particularly powerful at this new moon eclipse in Libra. Why? Because it forms at its base or apex, it forms with two planets. And one of them is Uranus, the other is Neptune. And it is pointing at this new moon eclipse in Libra. And of course, we have conjunct that, the south nodes. Well, the south nodes will stay there all the month of October. So that's why I'm saying that this yod will be in operation for the whole month. But more importantly, it's going to point out something important to all of us. And if you have something around, say, the 21, 22 degree mark of Libra, this could be a very important new start for you. Even a new start for those folks that need balance in their life, right? Need harmony in their life. It's not all necessarily about legal stuff, but I think there's a big collective legal thing going on here. Okay, so that's what I see that's going on here. We also have Mars trining Saturn, and Saturn is at 0 degrees of Pisces and some minutes. Now, 0 degrees is a critical degree, and actually Saturn will go direct next month in November at 0 degrees. So this also says to me that there's some important potential favorable action that can take place here with regards to integrating, I would say, some new structure in your life. So again, this kind of goes back to everything I've just been speaking about right at the beginning of the video, where I just really think this new moon in Libra could be very favorable for many, many people, especially with regards to new starts, because that 0 degree critical degree is, relatively speaking, like a new start in some way, even though at this new moon eclipse, Saturn will still be retrograde. Now, I don't normally cover moons that are in between the full moon and new moon or vice versa. But on the 22nd of October, we have the waxing gibbous moon, which is the moon just prior to the full moon. And it just happens to be at 28 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct Pluto. And so I also saw this new moon as particularly important as well with regards to, I feel this is going to be a real pinpoint in time where we finally get it, that we finally say, okay, we can let go of all those old structures, right? So Pluto in Capricorn really represents letting go of those old things that just are archaic, that don't really assist anybody anymore. And so I saw this, this particular moon, just prior to the full moon, conjunct Pluto, as a significant mark in the sand here. And certainly if you have something around that 28 degree mark of Capricorn, that, whatever that is, will be conjunct Pluto. And so for you, this may be the final steps, the final touches in whatever it is that you are transforming in your life. Can also be a time of testing. Has this worked up to now? Do I need to do some adjustments here prior to taking that jump in a new direction? Now, when we look at the Sabian symbol for this moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn, it was really interesting. It's a woman reading tea leaves. And I thought that was really interesting, although I'm not reading tea leaves right now. I'm ostensibly, I guess, looking at potential things that are happening in the universe with the planets and stars as a future as well as present type of activity, right? But really what this meant to me was that you get to see the facts, but also you get to see through the facts of what the real meaning is of the facts. So you might have to think about what I've just said here. But it's that intuition, right? You've got these facts presented to you, and then you have to determine, and I would say this is an intuitive exercise, what do those facts really mean to me? Especially if you've got something around that 28 degree mark of Capricorn, or the opposite sign, 28 degrees of Cancer, as a direct hit. So we have our next full moon eclipse in Taurus, 28th of October, and it is at 1:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time at 5 Taurus and 9 minutes. So the Sabian symbol for 6 degrees of Taurus is a cantilever bridge across a deep gorge. And I thought this was an interesting way to kind of tie up the month with this final eclipse. And it's the final eclipse, of course, in a series of eclipses that we've had over the past, not quite 2 years, a year and a half, or a bit more than that, in both Scorpio and Taurus. So it's a finality too, it's a wrapping up. And so I really saw this as literally building a bridge, whether it's metaphorical or not, or literally a bridge across difficulties and working together, right? That's what that Sabian symbol refers to. And indeed, I believe it does refer to that final eclipse, that full moon of saying, okay, let's dig in here and work together to build a bridge so that we can all benefit from whatever it is that is a difficulty for us, either individually or collectively. Now we have the sun that will be in Scorpio at this full moon eclipse, and it'll be widely conjuncting Mercury, as well as Mars that are in Scorpio. So this does, even though it's a Taurus eclipse, there's a lot of Scorpio going on here too. And I would say that especially with the Mercury and the Mars in Scorpio and the sun, this will be some kind of illumination of probably secrets. Could be just hidden information that's not been available to you. So we're looking at around the 6 degree mark of Scorpio for the Scorpio planets that we're talking about here, right? And so that's the sun, which is a luminary, that is Mercury, and that is Mars. And so there's some kind of favorable energy that's going to be kicked off here with regards to, boom, you all of a sudden see the light. You're all of a sudden able to take some action here. With regards to things I believe that were hidden. It can also be psychological too. I mean, certainly Scorpio is very much a psychological type sign. But I think this is an illumination of some facts that were hidden, whether they were hidden intentionally or not. We also have the moon will be conjuncting Jupiter. Now the moon, if we look at it from a standpoint of a collective level, represents the people. And so we get this Jupiter expanding the moon, basically saying there's going to be a lot more notice put to the people here. Now, Jupiter, generally speaking, we look at that as representing foreign people, foreign lands. So I think there's going to be a big focus here on people in foreign lands that are going to be bringing a lot of stuff up to the surface here, right? Let's go back to the fact that this is a full moon in Taurus, bringing things to light. And with Jupiter on top of that, it really expands and brings things to light, but especially with regards, I feel, to foreign lands, foreign people, but it could also be to philosophies as well, right? Groups that have a certain philosophy, for some reason, may be brought to light for us to see at this full moon eclipse. Okay, so when we look at November, we will have Saturn going direct at 0 degrees. And as I mentioned, that's a critical degree. I'll talk more about that in my video for November. We'll have a new moon in Scorpio. So Scorpio, you got a new start in November. And then we have a full moon in Gemini. All right, let's move on now to the signs and or ascendants. All right, Aries. So that new moon in Libra, of course, is opposite to your sign, and it's the 7th house. So it brings into view something new with regards to your partner, business partner, marriage partner, and or clients, or any other, right? So that 7th house is going to be lit up for you all month, Aries. So you may have to pay attention to some new initiative that your business and or marriage partner is showing you or telling you at this time. It is all about letting go as well, because of course we've got it all month long. We have that south node in Libra being activated by the yod. And so I would say work with your partners, your clients, to let go of some way of doing things that just is not facilitating things going right or making things smooth. It could, for some Aries, there may be some decision of letting go of a partnership at this time. But in the same token, it can also bring in a partnership of significance, right? Even though it's in opposition. Now we look at that full moon in Taurus. It is in your 2nd house of what? The income you earn, your values. Yeah, so this could have you ending maybe some income that you've had coming in for some reason. Something is activated at this time where you decide to let go of it. Now, we're also going to have Mars in your, and it'll be activating Jupiter, especially at the full moon in the full moon eclipse in Taurus. So some Aries may just have some luck come their way with regards to fortunate action of some sort. And you will have to think about what that might be for you individually. You still have Chiron in your sign operating at a big level of trying to bring some healing your way. Healing with regards to you being the individual that you want to be and you being that independent individual, fully supported, right? So take care of your health as well. You certainly have Chiron in there activating better health for you, whether it is physical health or mental health, Aries. Take care of yourself, Aries. Okay, everyone, that kind of wraps up things. I hope I've given you some information that is of use to you. As always, you are the captain of your ship. You decide which way you want to steer your life. I'm just giving you some information that I hope will help, just help you make those decisions. But it is your decision, whatever you decide to do. This is an action-packed month with these 2 eclipses. But I see them really working out well as long as you take that high road of Libra type things, seek harmony, seek fairness, and balance. To me, that's the overriding energy for this October, because we've got this big stamp of Venus, right? And Venus is sweet. Maybe that little adage of, a little bit of honey is a little bit better than vinegar is something to take seriously in this month of October. Well, I wish you lots of sweetness. Take care of yourself, everybody. We will be in touch when I do my November 2023 video. Bye for now. Sending you lots of love.